So students, welcome to the topic control and coordination in plants. So here you see the control and coordination in plants are happening by either hormones or by some responses to stimulus. Because of some stimulus, plant tries to respond to some stimulus, that's why there is movement. Okay, now what are hormones? Little bit know what are hormones. Hormones are certain organic substances, okay, which control the growth of the plants, growth as well as development of the plants. Today we are not going to study about hormones or how hormones control the growth of the plants. Today we are going to study about how the coordination and control in plants happens due to some stimuli. Okay, see, now is the stimuli coming from inside the plant, or is the stimuli internal, or is the stimuli coming from outside environment? Okay, so that means based on the source of the stimuli are divided into two types: tropic movements and nestic movements. Okay, so what are nestic movements? We'll start from nestic movement. Okay, nestic movements are some paratonic curvature movements due to turgor changes in the cell. So what we have to know, why this nestic movement happens? Because there is some change in the turgor, the turgidity of the cells. See, in class 9 we have studied about turgidity of cell. Turgidity means how much is the water present inside the cells, is not it? So if the water is more, some kind of bending will be shown by plants. If there is not some kind of bending, something like change is happening, like you can take example of closing and opening of the stomatal pore by the guard cells. So that can be an example of nestic movement. So that means the reason is what? Change in the turgor. Okay, now this again like this kind of movement, when the reason or the stimuli is coming from the plant inside, this kind of movements are called as nestic movements. Okay, see, these nestic movements are again divided into two types: seismonestic and nyctinestic. Now seismonestic means if the response of the plant, the movement of the plant, is due to a stimuli like touch or vibration. If like the plant body touches any kind of like stem, a climber will hold that stem, so that is a kind of a touch, right? So that kind of movement by the climber is called as a seismonestic movement. But what are nyctinestic movement? Nyctinestic movement are by some factors of the environment like temperature, like the light and all, which is happening in a day. There is changes in the temperature in the day and night. There is changes in the light between day and night. So the diurnal changes, changes that happens throughout the day, they are called as nyctinestic. So see, both seismonestic and nyctinestic, both the stimuli are coming from inside the plant actually, is not it? Sorry, they are coming from outside the plant, is not it? There is a touch from outside the plant. There is some kind of light or a kind of like thermal stimuli coming from the outside. So this will be, that's why included under what? Nestic movement. So again, nyctinestic can be divided into photonestic and thermonestic. So movement induced by the change in the light intensity. Okay, like you have seen certain flowers which bloom only in the daytime, and when it's night, the flower closes down, and there are certain flowers which opens only in the night time, right? There are certain flowers which opens when the day is sunny, like temperature is more. So these are certain examples of photonestic and thermonestic. So understood. Let us revise what are nestic movements. Okay, so nestic movements are movements which happens because of some change, internal changes inside the cells, like pressure, because of the turgidity of the cells. Now this turgidity of the cell response can be divided into two types: seismonostic, when it is touch, or nyctinistic, because of changes in the temperature and the light. If it is because of the temperature, it's called as thermonostic. If it's because of the light, it's called as photonostic. So next we will study tropic movement, where the internal stimulus comes from one direction only. Okay, because from outside there are some kind of information sent, but the response will be response to those stimuli arises from inside. Like geotropism is one kind, which response is towards the gravity. Phototropism, response to light. Hydrotropism, response to water. Chemotropism, response to chemical. Thigmotropism, where it's response to touch. Okay, so for today we will learn only about the movements due to we will only learn about this part, movement due to some kind of stimuli, okay, not because of hormones. So students, let us look into a video. Like you have been doing this thing many a times in your life, in the school playground maybe. I have also done this one when like I find a mimosa plant in front. So in front of you there is a plant which is scientifically known as Mimosa pudica, Mimosa pudica, Mimosa pudica, or in common English name we call it the touch me not plant, right? Okay, let us see what happens. So what we saw, in response to a very small stimulus like a touch, the plant body showed some kind of movement, and this movement was because of a stimuli. Okay, and the stimuli arose some kind of changes. Stimuli came from outside and some kind of changes. To see why did the plant showed this kind of movement. See, plants do not have any nervous tissue, so that the touch can be sent to the different parts of the plant, from the tip of the leaf to different parts of the plant. Is not it? Did you think like that? Like have you ever given a thought to it? See, plants do not have nervous tissue. How that the touch stimulus can move so fast? Information of that touch has to be communicated, is not it? But how did plant did that? See, plants also use electrical, chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. Okay, but plants, they do not have, as I told you, they do not have the nervous tissue. Okay, but what they do then, how they do, they change the shape of the cells. How they change the shape of the cells? By changing the amount of water present in them, resulting in either swelling or shrinkage of the cells, and therefore changing the shape. Probably what happened here, when the man touched the leaf, the water which was present at the base of the leaf, okay, that came out. Okay, that came out from the base of the leaf to its surrounding cells. That's why the leaf closed. Like how the stomata was closed, because the water left the gut cells. So in plants we understood that even if there is no nervous system, this entry and exit of water, and that's why resulting in swelling or shrinking of the cell, can bring some changes in the plant body, right? So students, let us know what are tropic movements. Tropic, the word tropic actually means direction, like you have known or you studied Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. So TROPIC, tropic means direction. Is different from the word trophic, like last chapter in nutrition you studied autotrophic, heterotrophic. That spelling is TROPHIC, trophic. Here it is tropic. So tropic means directional and trophic means nutritional. So come back to the topic, tropic movements. Okay, so tropic movements are directional movements towards or away from the stimulus, and it depends on growth. See what it is telling, it is directional movement and it is towards or it is away. Okay, now when the movement is towards, we call it positively tropic movement, and when the movement is away from the stimulus, we call it negatively tropic movement. Okay, now see, these tropic movements in plants are as follows: phototropic movement, geotropic movement, hydrotropic movement, chemotropic and thigmotropic movement. Individually, again, tropic movements we can divide into two types: positively phototropic, negatively phototropic, positively geotropic, negatively geotropic, positively hydrotropic, then negatively hydrotropic, then positively chemotropic, negatively chemotropic, and also positively thigmotropic and then negatively thigmotropic. Right? See, in this picture there is a tub, and in that tub some plants are growing, and the tub is placed near a window inside in a dark room. Okay, now see what happens is that the stems and the leaves, they are growing and their growth is directed towards the light. So what is this kind of tropic movement called? It is a phototropic movement because the stimulus is the light, and this is a positive phototropism because the plant body, like the stems and the leaves, they are moving towards the light. That means the stem is showing what? Positive phototropism. Is not it? Okay, look at this another picture. In this picture another tub is having some orchids growing near again a window, and from the window you can see the light is entering. To see the behavior of the plant body parts, in this side the flowers and the leaves, they are like going towards the light, the source of light, and the roots this side, they are moving away from the light. Is not it? So in this picture we see both positive phototropism as well as negative phototropism. The stem and the leaves, they show what? Positive phototropism, and the roots, they show negative phototropism, right? So this picture is a very good example. Now you know that different body parts of a plant, they show different types of tropic movement. Okay, try out this next image. In this image you see that first one tub was having a plant, in it a plant was grown, and that plant was standing erect, right? After that, if we like turn the tub horizontally like this, okay, and keep it for some days, okay, then what we can do, break the tub little bit and try to find out inside what is happening. You will be very shocked to see that the roots, okay, the roots have started bending downwards towards the gravity, actually towards the gravity. Okay, the roots are bending towards the gravity, whereas the stem, okay, is moving upward, tends to move upward. The roots tends to move downwards. Okay, that means this roots, okay, they show what? Positive geotropism, but the stem and the leaves, they show negative geotropism. Same geotropism, but different parts of the plant body, they react or they respond differently. Here the stimulus was the gravity of the earth, right? Okay, last but not the least, let us observe the thigmotropism. Okay, so thigmotropism is a directional movement in response to what? Touch or contact. Like you see this climber. Okay, this climber or a vine has touched a support. This stem is the support. So the tendrils which touches this support will grow and it will coil over the support. So this kind of movements are called as what? Thigmotropism. Thigmo means touch and tropism means a directional growth. So thigmotropism is a positive thigmotropism, like growth of the vine, the vine which is growing. Okay, now take another example. You can see that there is a Venus flytrap, and that Venus flytrap closes as soon as or traps as soon as it feels a touch. An insect has entered and a touch has been filled. So so what is this kind of movement again? This kind of movement is again a thigmotropic movement. Okay, and both of them are what? Both responsive towards the stimuli. Okay, wherever there is stimuli, they will grow. So both this example of the vine or the climber and the snapdragon is an example of what? Positive thigmotropism. Let us take another like example, which will be for negative thigmotropism. This Mimosa pudica plant. Okay, we already discussed this Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica also responded towards touch, where the stimuli was touch, but that movement was what? Negative thigmotropism, because it did not respond towards the stimuli. Rather, the leaves droops down. The leaf do not move towards the touch of the hand. Had it been a snapdragon plant, it would have like closed our fingers, not, but it is moving away, like it's closing the leaves, moving away, it's drooping the leaves. So this is an example of what? Thigmotropism. So I hope you have understood about whole tropic movements. Like let us revise one. Like tropic movements are directional movement of plants where growth happens, and based on the stimuli they are of different types, like phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism, chemotropism, then thigmotropism. Okay, hope you have understood the video. Hydrotropism, another kind of tropic movement. So hydrotropism is a growth of the plant body parts in response to water. Hydro means water, and the plant body parts like the roots, they show positive hydrotropism and the shoots show negative hydrotropism. Okay, you observe this image here. Okay, you can create this kind of box and experiment in your house. Like you take a large tank, okay, mediums and large tank. Please grow one plant, and the soil inside the tank should have a kind of a crevice, or should have, you dig out some area and you always water here in this area. Okay, and after some days or after a month, you just take out the plant and observe the growth of the roots. What will you observe here? You will observe that the roots are moving towards the availability of water, source of the water. Okay, so that means the roots are showing positive hydrotropism, whereas the shoot, they are not bending towards the water. Okay, they are rather against the roots, though they are showing negative hydrotropism. Okay, another example, you see there is a tree growing. Okay, and you'll see that the distribution of the roots in both the sides are not same. The distribution of the roots are more, okay, or more dense towards the wet soil, which is more having more waters. Maybe there is a pond here, so you'll see more roots here. But towards the dry soil, the distribution of the roots are very less. Okay, different types of roots are formed from both the sides. So you see that the roots, they respond to the stimuli of water in different way. Okay. Okay, now you take this image. I hope you have be able to identify that this image is of a carpel, and that carpel has got the parts stigma, style, and the ovary, and in the stigma part a pollen has landed. Okay, now see in the second image, can you see that the pollen has germinated to form a pollen tube? Okay, and that pollen tube is moving, is entering and entering and entering and entering through this way towards the ovule. Okay, have you thought like why the pollen tube, okay, pollen tube grows only towards the ovule, not the pollen tube is not growing upward or not going sideways? Why is it only attracted towards this ovule? Because of some kind of chemical present here. Chemical present throughout this areas. So this kind of movement shown by the plant body parts towards the chemicals are called as what? Chemical chemotropism. So this is an example of positive chemotropism because the plant body part is attracted towards the chemicals. Another example we can give is for the roots of the plant. The roots of the plant likes to grow towards the soil which has got minerals, more minerals. So the roots are showing positive chemotropism. Okay, but if the soil is having heavy metals, the side which soil has got heavy metals, the roots do not grow towards that. The root shows negative chemotropism. Okay, so we have understood the two types of tropic movement, hydrotropism and the chemotropism. So altogether we have studied 5 types of tropic movement, that means 5 types of directional movement of plant body parts towards, in response towards or against some kind of stimuli.